did you fall in love with the game? Like, tell me the process of when you fell in love with baseball.
Yeah, I mean, geez, I remember when I was like 5 years old and at my grandma's house, just hitting baseballs over the house. And my grandma told my dad one day, she was like, "Man, you got your ball player right here." So I guess that's when it all started. Was grandma. She was the one that kind of introduced me to the game. But when I started actually like noticing like I actually kind of have a future in this game was about when I was 10 years old, 11 years old. When I started actually kind of putting some power behind the baseballs and driving them over the fence. And when I was working out with one of my old hitting coaches, you remember Mo? Mo he was the one that really made me kind of fall in love with this game. He was a Rocky style type of coach. And he I remember our tee was like a bucket filled with or had a PVC pipe in the bucket filled with cement. And it had a little rubber piece at the top of the PVC pipe. And when that thing started wearing down, all you do is tape it back up. And you know, uh, so it just kind of made me appreciate it, appreciate the game. Allowed me to fall in love with the game and fall in love with the process pretty much. So I guess that's kind of where it all started. So
Yeah, so process is an important word. I think it's something that, as a coach, I like to talk about a lot. What was your process throughout high school and your travel ball years? What did it look like? Let's say from the time you were 13 on, from like a daily routine. Like, what did it look like for you?
yeah, so let's see, 13. Let's see, how old was I? All right, what grade was I in? I think I was
Eighth
like
grade,
in eighth
like
grade.
seventh, eighth grade. Yeah.
Eighth grade. Yeah. So eighth grade, I think at that time I was let's see, I think I was working out with Mo at the time. He actually no, I was working out with you. I was working out with you at the time. Yeah. I was
You
working out with
started.
yeah. No, I was working out with you. Mo was before that. I was working out with you and I was I'd go to school, I'd get finished, I forget around 2:30 and then come hit with you at the time. And yeah, so that was kind of my process. We get done around 4:30 and then I'd work out after that. Yeah, and then as the time got on, I went to TNXO and then that's when I started getting that's when I think I'd get finished school around let's see, like 11:30, and then I'd go over there and then hit, work out, do everything and be done by 3 o'clock. And that's when I had my free time after that. But yeah, and then in the travel ball and everything like that, we would go play tons of tournaments in the summer. And then I think I started playing with Scorpions around that time, eighth grade freshman year. And then I started playing on the with the 2019 class when I was 14, I think 14, 15. And that's actually when I started getting some notice in my game. I think I got my first offer I think it was eighth grade going into freshman year.
Yep.
So yeah, it's crazy how early that was. I mean, I know kids nowadays are getting offers about the same time, but or earlier than that. So it was pretty crazy. And then that's when it all blew up right there. As soon as I got my first offer going into freshman year, I started getting notice from all over the place, SEC schools. And freshman year hit, and then I'm in high school training, working out every day, and then on the weekends I'd go to a different school every weekend. I visited like 15 different schools. You remember that?
I
So
sure do.
I visited 15 different schools. I wanted to get a true feel of what every school felt like, because I never really had like a favorite school growing up. I was very open with it. So visited all the different schools, got a feel for it, and then visited LSU, and it was a huge eye opener for me. I mean, this place is college baseball heaven. You know what I mean? It's just the resources they have here, the development that they have here. It's just like a second home for me pretty much. And most importantly, the food here is amazing too. So I'm never going hungry here at all, dude. I mean,
And I'm
it's
sure, I'm sure, I'm sure there's a lot of restaurants where you don't have to pay that bill either. So
yeah, yeah, no, it's good. It's good. It's everybody here loves their sports, so it's a small world. And you get noticed I mean, in all over the place. All these restaurants you walk in and everybody knows who you are. So it's pretty cool. It's what I wanted. At the end of the day, so senior year came and it was a tough time. It was like that COVID year. So, but it was I didn't have the year that I wanted to. It was I think people realize, a lot of players and a lot of parents think that like college is like the worst thing ever. And in my eyes, like I'm telling you, like right now, it's the best decision that I've ever had going to college. Like I I've developed into a completely different player. I've matured. At the time in high school when I was a senior, it was a lot of pressure on me. I was a young kid. I didn't know how to deal with all that pressure going into the draft. So I let the pressure kind of get to me, and I didn't play the way that I wanted to. I was kind of living up to this, trying to live up to this certain expectation. So, it was a blessing in disguise, is what I always say. So I take my name out of the draft, and I go to college, and let me tell you, it's been the best decision of my life. And I've made some of the best relationships here, developed, like I said, into the player that I want to be leading up to the draft. And it's just been awesome. And I got one more year left, and I'm just trying to enjoy it to the best I can, and hopefully win a national championship here soon.
Absolutely. Well, we'll get into LSU baseball in a little bit here, but I want to ask you a couple more questions about your high school days. Um, what do you think about that travel ball experience helped prepare you for LSU and for playing in the SEC? Is there anything that sticks out in your mind that really helped it so that you could come in as a freshman, hit 362 with 16 doubles, 18 bombs, 42 RBIs, and an OPS over 1,000 as a
Yeah,
freshman in the SEC, right? Like that's unheard of, right?
yeah.
So, what would you say prepared you best through your travel ball days and your travel ball experience to do that?
Yeah, there's definitely one thing that sticks out to me the most, and that was me playing up. I was always a 2020 playing in the 2019 class since I was 14, 15 years old. So that transition period was very easy for me coming into college. I like I said, I always played up. So playing with these older guys, it became honestly kind of easy. Like it was easier for sure as far as the transition. The game didn't speed up to me at all. I was always, like I said, I always played up. So that was definitely the thing that helped me out with the transition part and kind of adjusting. So yeah, I just got here, did what I wanted to do, did what I was supposed to do, and kind of, at the end of the day, just be me. So that was it. Wasn't living up to a certain expectation, just trying to be the best me that I could be. And, it was more than what I could have imagined. So it was good.
Awesome. Give me one of your favorite memories from your travel ball days, whether it was with the Scorpions, Team USA. Like, what was one of your favorite memories that you can think of?
Man, I got a lot of good memories in high school. I mean, those Jupiter tournaments were awesome, man. Those going there and playing in front of all those scouts and the golf carts over there. That was one of the best memories of my life for sure. I mean, I remember playing under the lights there, and you got golf carts lined up on both foul lines, just watching. You got the behind the plate, tons of golf carts, and got all the radar guns popping up. It was cool. It was awesome. Definitely something that I'll remember for the rest of my life for sure.
Awesome. So let's transition to LSU and where you are now. I remember the first time I saw you after it was your freshman year. Unfortunately, I wasn't the best coach. I only came up to one series. It was the Super in Tennessee, and I remember getting a big hug. But I remember asking you at that time, like, what's the biggest difference? And I actually share this a lot, Dylan. Your response was at that time, and I'd like to hear your answer now, but at that time you said I only have to swing at strikes, right? Like the
Yeah.
strike zone, the umpires were better, right? The strike zone was you could command it better. But what are two or three of the biggest adjustments, maybe both on the field and off the field, that you had to make transitioning from high school to the top level of college baseball?
Yeah, I think for me, it was learning how to kind of slow the game down. Nowadays it's really sped up. The game really speeds up. So it's really important for me to learn how to like slow the game down. And that all starts with my preparation and, first of all, the on deck circle, like I'm up there, getting my timing down, learning how to be slow and early with the guy. walking up to the plate slow, just really get the thoughts down, trusting trusting in your process, really. Yeah, that's really it. Just learning how to slow the game down, really. I think that's, having the new coaching staff come over here last year helped me out tremendously with that, learning how to, do breathing techniques and, really just using your eyes pretty much too. That's one of Jay's biggest things is using your eyes, and using that to your ability and learning how to get behind the baseball with your eyes. And, his thing he always says, if you can't see the ball, you can't hit the ball. So really learning how to, like I said, see the ball and slow the game down has been the two biggest adjustments that I've learned through these past few years.
That's a really interesting thing. What are some things that you do, to train yourself, train the eyes? Are there some specific drills? Or are there specific things that you guys do?
Yeah, so we got colored dotted balls. We get like a red we draw like a red dot on the baseball, and then we do a blue one and then a black one and the green one. And then when he throws it in, you have to call out the color that he threw. And that's one of the drills we do. Another one, I guess, would be let's see. We do like one where it's like there's an L screen. You got the L screen there, and then you draw like a line, or you tape a line on top of the L screen, and if you throw above it, it's a strike, and if you throw below the line, it's a ball, and you have to take it. So that's something we do. Yeah, that's really it. Really, using your eyes is huge for him. Another thing we do is we got like a sock, and we put 7 balls in the sock, and you lay in front of the plate, and when he throws it in, you have to call out the number that the ball went over in the balls in the socket. So yeah, that's another thing we do. That's really it. That's something that Coach Jay takes a lot of pride in, and it helps out us tremendously for sure.
So we talked about your routine in high school, and was lucky enough to get off of school early and get your lift in and get some work in. How has that transformed as you've gone into college? I think one thing that I always knew about you as obviously a guy that got to hit with you for 4 or 5 years consistently was you were a guy that liked to take a lot of swings, right?
Yeah.
Is that still the same, or has things changed a little bit?
Yeah, I really had to learn how to be more quality over quantity, really taking game like approaches and swings during my BP sessions compared to just going on there and having like an auto swing type deal when I'm in the batting cages. And really, like I said, using your eyes. That's what you do in the game. You want to see what kind of pitch it is instead of knowing that this pitch is going to be there and just trying to swing at whatever. So yeah, for me, I'm trying to get game like as possible. I'm always visualizing a pitcher on the mound and just pretending like he's up there and getting my timing right with that guy. Or if it's a machine, I'll pretend like there's another pitcher up there. So yeah, it's like for me, I literally had to learn how to get more quality over quantity. And it doesn't have to be 100 swings. It could be 50 swings. It could be 30 swings. If I'm backspinning the baseball to the back of the cage, or gap to gap on the field, then I'm in the right position. I'm more of a feel guy. If I'm, like I said, if I'm backspinning baseballs and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and then I'm in the right position. I don't really try and get caught up in all the numbers and everything like that on the TrackMan or all the fancy stuff that's coming out here.
Yeah, so that's really interesting. So tech in baseball is obviously booming now, right? Like it's a big thing. And so for you, what I hear you saying is it's about feel for you, right? Like you don't necessarily, the numbers are more of a reflection of what you're doing than you trying to go for the numbers. Is that correct?
Yeah. So when I see, like, I think when a lot of times when kids see those numbers, they start chasing certain numbers instead of really focusing on like learning how to truly backspin a baseball, or really learning how to get the right flight on a baseball and controlling your direction and path in a certain swing, instead of some kids just try to swing as hard as they can and get a super high exit velo. That's not for me. I'm more of, like I said, I'm more of a field guy. So I'm really just trying to really just backspin baseballs and work on my direction, You know, a lot of the times I'll swing a heavy bat. You know, that's big for me, is swinging a heavy bat. And for me, if I can control that heavy bat as much as I can, then I can control my regular bat. So, and I'll do a bunch of things with the heavy bat. You know, direction stuff. You know, bat path, 3/4 swings. You know, I'm really big in angle hitting too. Like I'm really big in angle hitting, because a lot of, like, nowadays nothing's straight at all. You know, nothing is straight. Always hitting off the, you know, the front hip, you know, trying to get different angles from the right and left side. Really just learning how to truly backspin baseballs from both angles. So yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, I love it, Dill. Really good advice. So let's talk about pressure and expectations, right? You were the number one ranked high school player for most of your high school career. You're currently consensus number one draft pick in the MLB for this year's draft. How have you learned to deal with those pressures and the expectations? And I want to add one more thing to that, because as a person who would have been a first round pick if you wanted to be out of high school, withdrawing your name out of the draft, betting on yourself, and then, let me read these again. As a freshman, coming in the SEC at the highest level and hitting 362 with 16 doubles, 18 homers, and 42 RBIs. And then following it up the next year, right? Hitting 349 with 11 doubles and 22 home runs and 72 RBIs, right? And I don't think anybody is expecting you not to do the same thing this year, right? But how have you dealt with that pressure expectations? And again, you said you struggled with them a little bit as a high school senior. So talk about the struggle, what you learned from that, and how you deal with them now.
Yeah, like I said, it's not my first time around. You know, this is definitely something that I've experienced, and I know what's coming, and I know how to handle it now. And my senior year, I didn't know how to handle it. You know, there's a lot of expectations, a lot of pressure at the time, and I was a young kid. I didn't know how to handle it. So I went to college, learned how to mature and really grow as a ball player, physically and mentally. And it's been awesome. You know, like, even this year, there's a lot of expectations, not just on me, but the entire team. And for me, it's just really important just to be me. You know, at the end of the day, I think where I get in trouble, or where a lot of kids get in trouble, is when they try to be somebody they're not. With certain expectations here and there. So yeah, for me, it's just being me, being the best leader that I can be, and learning how to be, being comfortable, being uncomfortable. Really, that's a big thing for me. You know, one of my goals this year was to lead more verbally instead of by example. You know,
That's a
because
big one for you, man. That's out of your
yeah,
comfort zone right there,
no,
brother.
exactly. I was a quiet kid. You know, I still am a little some of the time. So learning how to speak up, really, when things aren't going the right way, and learning how to hold each other accountable is huge for us this year. Especially with a lot of guys coming in from the transfer portal. There's a lot of egos that could get involved. So it's really important for us to throw those egos to the side and just kind of work together as one and hold each other accountable. So for me, for me, it was important to kind of earn my respect and earn my stripes, is what I like to say, the past 2 years. And, now I feel like I can speak up, and everybody says, when I speak up, people listen, and so, because I know, like, when, I'm not the guy that kind of says stuff, but, once I say stuff, they tend to listen. So, yeah, it's good, man. It's, like I said, it's learning how to be comfortable being uncomfortable, trying different things. You're going to fail at a lot of times. All the time you're going to fail. This game is very hard. So, just keep going, keep trying, and, just be you at the end of the day, be me. So.
For all of our listeners, I want to throw this in there. We're going to open it up for some question and answer toward the end of this. So at the bottom of your screen, there's a button that says Q&A. You can click on that, type in questions for Dylan, and if they, all the way through, if they come up in your head right now, go ahead and punch them in there, and we'll get to them towards the end of this call. So all the accolades you've had, Team USA, as a young kid, collegiate Team USA, SEC Player of the Year. I could read a litany of things. For me, as one of your former coaches, one of the things that makes me most proud is SEC all community service team, right? And so tell me how you've earned that, and tell me why that's so important to you.
Yeah, that's definitely probably the biggest accomplishment of my career here so far at LSU. My parents always say, it's good to be a good ball player, but it's going to take you further if you're a better person. So uh, I got involved in families helping families here. It's disabled kids, and it's people don't understand. Those kids don't have a lot of friends. They don't get invited to birthday parties. They don't get invited to a lot of things. So trying to get involved in that community and building another audience. It's awesome. It's awesome. Me and my family, we have season tickets for Families Helping Families for, every game. We have a new family come out and sit in those seats, and it's awesome to see the smiles on those kids' faces. It's it's a lot of the times it's their first game to ever, first ever baseball game. So seeing those smiles on those kids' faces, it's awesome. It's better than anything that I've ever done here at LSU for sure. And I'm definitely gonna keep this going in the future, and hopefully start my own foundation one day. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's awesome. It's a good feeling for sure.
Would you say that you started it to help other people, but it's kind of transformed into helping you?
Yeah, definitely. It's not an easy thing to do. It's learning how to get out of your comfort zone and build a new audience, really. It's definitely not easy to do. It's it takes a lot of adjustments, and just everything, really. It's tough. It's very hard, but it's a good feeling, playing for somebody else, really. Not just playing for yourself or for your parents, playing for somebody else, and knowing that, there's other people out there that are supporting you. And it's cool to think about. And it's like I said, it's cool to see those smiles on those kids' faces every game.
So in a world of self promotion and influencers and you know NIL money and all this stuff that's out there, right, Dylan? Um, you don't do any social media, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, like I got Instagram, I got Twitter and everything, but I don't really post much. It's a new world now. It's you know building your network and having a good social media is important now, and that's definitely something that I want to learn and get more involved in at the next level. But right now, at this point in my life, it's really important for me to kind of simplify things as much as possible. And I remember me and you all also you used to always say back in the day, less is more. So for me, keeping everything simple makes me a better ball player. And what the most important thing is my performance out on the field, and whatever I got to do to make that the best of my ability, I'm gonna do it. And that's just to kind of simplify things, not get on social media all the time. And yeah, just stick to my process, and just go out and enjoy the game pretty much.
All right, I'm going to jump to some questions. We got a couple in here, and as they flow in, we'll kind of bounce back and forth between my questions and some that our listeners have. So we'll start with this one. What's your favorite all-time outfield drill to do? And I'll kind of clarify that. What drill do you think really helps you the most?
Yeah, definitely live reads off the bat, no doubt, no question. It's the most realistic you'll get out of outfield drills for sure. There's all sorts of things you can do with clearing your hips, doing all that type of stuff. But for me, the best thing that helps me out to get game ready is live reads off the bat. And if you don't have like a place to do that, if you don't have somebody to hit you live reads off the bat, somebody throwing BP, having somebody hit for you out there. You can have somebody, hit like a fungo or something at you and get some good reads, going back, going in. Yeah. So something really off the bat, really. That's really it for me.
Awesome. Another one, and this is a loaded question, but from a high school player, should we be doing showcases?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I did so many showcases in high school. Geez, yeah. I mean, I was doing a lot for sure. I mean, you remember I was man, if I wasn't playing a tournament, I was definitely doing a showcase. That definitely got me on the radar for sure. But I think as you get older, it's important to kind of, definitely do showcases early in high school and then kind of simplify things as you get older. I think that's something that I realized is learning how to simplify things as I got older and not really tire myself out and yeah, just get yourself on the radar and then kind of ease out after that.
So there's a good question, and I'm gonna probably embarrass you a little bit on this one, but we got one that says, "How old were you when you hit your growth spurt, and did that make a difference in your ability to excel at hitting? Was it early, sixth through eighth grade, or after that, ninth or tenth grade?" And I'll just tell all of our listeners, feel free to go on YouTube and look up Dylan Cruz recruiting video. And there's a great video of Dylan from about seventh or eighth grade. He thought he was a catcher back then. And you guys can all see what Dylan looked like in seventh or eighth grade. But Dylan, I'll let you answer that question. When did you hit your growth spurt, and do you think it made a huge difference in you as a hitter or not?
Um, I think I hit my growth spurt when I was probably a sophomore in high school, maybe. That's kind of like when I'd say maxed out in like height or something like that. And then my body actually started developing when I was about a senior in high school. Um, but yeah, everybody's different though at the end of the day. But yeah, if you go and look at that video, like I think I was like 5'8", 160 pounds, and like just a twig. But that goes back to the showcase part. That got myself on the radar, and it's like I did little things like that to kind of get going and get my name noticed more. But yeah, it kind of played a role, in developing, not as much the height part, but growing into my body more, lifting weights, eating right. That definitely played a role as far as like hitting more for power and, running better, getting, more flexible. Definitely played a role for sure.
Great. Next one up, Dill, is from John Payno. John is actually the founder and owner of one of our Diamond Allegiance teams, CBA Baseball. You probably remember playing against them from California, really good group. And John asked, for all the high school kids that are in the audience tonight listening, what's your weekly routine in the fall, preparing for the season with practices, classes, and then how much work do you do on your own?
Yeah, I mean, we're at it every single day. There's really no days off. Our off days are optional, but they're not optional. You better show up there pretty much. So no, it's I'll go class in the mornings. I think I get off class around 12:30.
How many
And then
classes, how many hours are you taking in the fall typically?
I only have 2 in person and then the rest are online.
Yeah.
I got I think 5 total classes. So yeah, but so I go 2 classes, 2 in persons, and then I'll be done by 12:30, and then get something to eat, and then go to the field. I'll go lift in the morning. I'll go lift and then go to class. So I'm lifting at like I'll go 8, 9 o'clock, and then go to class to 10:30 to 12:30, and then I'll go back to the eat and then go back to the field after that, and do whatever I need to do as far as hitting, early hitting, and then we have practice from 2:30 to about 5:30, and then I'll probably go and hit after that again. But yeah, I'll get my live reads off and during our scheduled practice, and then yeah, that's really it. I'm hitting twice a day pretty much, working out 4 times a week, getting live reads off the bat every other day. So yeah, and making sure I definitely get recovery in, get some ice baths in, getting some get on the Normatex, getting some blood flow in the legs. So yeah, definitely get your recovery in for sure. It helps out the body, no doubt.
Another good one just came in. The balance, right, between academics, right, your social life, right,
Yeah.
and athletics. How have you learned to balance that? Is there anything that you do in your life that's a routine that makes it easy for you to do that?
Yeah, that was actually a kind of a struggle of mine my freshman year. I didn't really, I struggled really with balancing everything as far as like school and going to practice and having a good social life too, and enjoying things that I love to do outside of baseball, going fishing, hanging out with the friends, just really that. It was a struggle of mine for sure. So what I really did was just kind of like slow everything down, take it one step at a time really, and learning how to write everything down. Having like a planner almost like, writing my schedule down daily, and it made things easier and it simplified everything for sure. And just kind of made me go one thing at a time almost, instead of, piling everything all at once. So yeah, we got a mental coach here that actually helped me out with that, with learning how to write everything down and learning how to simplify things for sure.
So would
So
you say that it's important for you to actually schedule social time, right?
yeah,
And in the position that you're in, you've noticed that really help you. Do you think it helps you on the field when
yeah,
you're balanced?
100%. Yeah. So like I struggled with having like a social life, like almost I was always work, 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 gotta go in the cage, gotta hit, gotta do this, that. But it's so important to like go out and actually enjoy things with your friends, and go out, hang with your friends, go do, go fishing, go do whatever you do to, get your mind off baseball. It just helps mentally. And I don't know. It's weird how it works, but I'm telling you, it helps tremendously for sure. Just it's less stress on your body and on your mind, most importantly.
All right, Dale. Next one is actually from one of the guys that I'm working with now. He's a Florida commit. His name is Braden Weckman. So he was 4 or 5 years ago.
Sweet.
Braden asked, what was the hardest part of going from high school to college baseball? Whether it was on or off the field.
Yeah. I mean, that goes probably back to what we just covered, really. Learning how to balance everything. That was definitely very hard. Um, you know, Everything kind of came pretty easy as far as like the transition period. I guess fitting in, learning, having a routine. I guess the biggest thing was learning how to balance everything. You said he's going to Florida, so
Yep.
it's very important to, you know, when you go in, learn how to balance everything, learn how to, go to class, go, get your stuff done. I would definitely write some things down, makes things a lot easier. As a freshman, I was getting like overwhelmed with all the stuff that was going on, a lot of things thrown at you at once, and you get thrown into the fire. So what really helped me out was kind of learning how to plan everything, schedule with times, and just take everything one at a time, and learning how to slow the game down, and everything down pretty much. So I think that's the biggest thing that I kind of struggle with, and I would give advice to.
So this was a follow-up question I missed a little bit earlier, Dill, to the growth spurt question. They want to know how tall you are and how much you weigh now.
Yeah, so I'm 6 foot, about 208 now. I think, let's see, I think I hit 200 when I was a senior in high school. And then freshman year, I was up to 215. And then sophomore year, I got up to 223. I was a big dude. I was heavy. And I found out like my power was there, but like my speed and mobility and everything was not there. And like I was getting tired really fast. So like I really had to learn what my true body weight and what my true like perfect, I guess, like weight and everything fit for me. So I guess 208 right now is perfect. I got the perfect speed that I want, and I'm driving the ball tremendously. So yeah, 6 foot 208.
Beautiful. Well, I'm going to ask a couple more of my questions as more questions come in. But what are you most looking forward to this year at LSU? Obviously, you guys are the number one ranked team in the country. Everybody that follows the game knows that maybe one of the most talented teams in a long time in college baseball. But what gets you the most excited about it, and what do you guys need to focus on as a team, do you think, to reach your goals?
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, I'm really just looking forward to seeing how this team all comes together really. And I'm just really ready to face somebody new, honestly. I'm not really tired. I'm enjoying it day by day, but like I'm just ready to go and face somebody new and just see. I want to see how this team kind of handles uh you know getting punched in the mouth pretty much. Like it's like everybody's seen it. We got a lot of expectations here and that I really want to see how we react to getting punched in the mouth, and because that'll tell everybody, everything right there, and how we react for sure. Yeah, like I said, a lot of expectations. Really looking forward to this year, man. It's gonna be a fun year. We got a good group of guys. A lot of chemistry on this team, man. Like I said, there's a lot of guys coming in from the portal, a lot of new guys, a lot of freshmen. So it's we got one of the best chemistry teams I've ever been on. So
That's
it's
awesome.
yeah, chemistry's there. Everybody's holding each other accountable, and yeah, it's awesome, man.
So the guys are there for the right reason, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Coach Jay definitely recruited the right guys for sure. Everybody's their own leader in their own way. They work very hard. So yeah, it's good.
It's awesome. Next question up: how did your coaches do BP in high school? So that would be me. Um,
Yeah.
Pitching by someone who is throwing speed. Like, I guess. Sorry, I'm stumbling. Essentially, the question is: did you like the underhand flip or the velocity and BP better? Which one do you think worked for you to become the hitter you are today more?
Yeah. So right now I don't do any front toss straight ahead. So like any front toss I'm doing is from the angle. I'm always working on angle hitting. Like I said, nothing is straight nowadays. Everything's moving left and right. So working on trying to hit something from an angle and learning how to truly backspin a baseball to the big part of the field, middle away. Um, it's important. So yeah, so I go everything from angles as far as front toss. On the tee, really it's just I set things down the middle. I do some walkthrough drills. I do some back of the hip drills off the tee, and then put it in different spots here and there. But I try and get game like as more mostly game like as possible. So you know having a live arm. If it's off the machine, I like to see spin a lot. I like to see sliders. I like to see get my hacks off the fastballs. But if I'm off the machine, I definitely want to see some sliders here and there.
So it
Um,
sounds like a good balance of both, right? But when you're
yeah,
doing front toss, it's not necessarily just throwing cookies in there and seeing as
yeah.
far as you can hit it, right? It's angled front toss, making sure you're staying inside the baseball, things like that, right, Dill?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, anybody could hit front toss nowadays, it's I like challenging myself. I like to, work on directional stuff, making sure my direction is right, working on making sure, like I said, everything is back spinning towards the back of the cage. No side spin, no top spins. If I get that true flight down, I know I'm in the right spot. So that's what I try and focus on the most.
Beautiful. What accomplishment, and you've got a lot under your belt so far. What are you most proud of?
Yeah, that goes back to what we were talking about. Definitely the community service team. I think that's a huge accomplishment for sure. I think it beats the player of the year accomplishment, perfect game freshman of the year, all that type of stuff. Because it's like I said, it's one thing to be a good baseball player, but it's more important to be a good person. It just helps you out in the long run. You know, that's it. I think it's the community service team for sure, helping out others.
It's great. Well, I got one more for you, and then we'll let you go. We certainly appreciate your time. I know you guys, starting here in about 2 weeks. So appreciate you taking the night tonight to spend some time with us. But I'll leave you with this. 5 years from now, Dylan Cruz is what?
Definitely a big leaguer for sure. if everything goes right in the way that I want it to, I definitely want to be a big leaguer. In 5 years, no doubt. If in my eyes, if I'm not a big leaguer in 5 years, something went wrong. So just got to be me at the end of the day. Just got to be me, and hopefully everything will work out for itself.